Hey everybody. You might remember from yesterday answering the questions about the potato head planter. And to start off today, we're just going to go back to that same passage. I'm going to ask you to pause the video right now and just reread about the potato planter. That's going to be right in your Google Classroom, or you can use the link to print that as usual. And then when you're finished rereading, go ahead and press play and we'll move on. Okay, so you have reread the story about the potato head planter, our technical text of how to make that. And we've already answered a set of questions, but on slide 2, we've got some different questions. We've got 5, 6, and 7. We answered 1 through 4 yesterday. They're a little bit different types of questions, so I want to teach you how to answer these types of questions using technical text. So 5 actually gives us a sentence from step 2, and it's right here. Be sure not to scoop all the way to the bottom of the potato because this will act as your pot for the soil. What might happen if you don't follow this step? So this is kind of asking us to infer. It doesn't tell us what's going to happen in the text. So think about if you have a potato and you're scooping it out and you're going to put the soil in there. Well, if you scoop all the way to the bottom, what do you think might happen when you try to put the soil in there? Well, I know that when I fill anything with something, if it's a bowl, if it's a pot, whatever I'm filling, the bottom is what stops anything from leaking out. So I'm going to say if I do not follow this step, that's going to act as my R in the RAD strategy, restating the question. Now the A, I'm going to answer. And it's just exactly what we just talked about. Then the soil might spill out of the bottom of the potato. Okay, and then the D asked me to defend using details from the text. So I can say, I know this because, you might also say, in the text it says, those are all good starters for answering questions when you're giving details from the text. I know this because the text says, and then if I'm going to quote text, I can use these little quotation marks, and that's how I know I'm using it directly from the text. The text says, be sure not to scoop all the way to the bottom of the potato. And then when I'm reading your answer, I know what the question was, I know your answer, and I know how you got that answer. I know what made you infer that. So if we don't follow this step, the soil might spill out of the bottom. That's why we don't want to scoop all the way through. So now number 6 is talking about step 5. And again, it tells us the sentence from step 5. Water the seeds until the soil is damp, but be sure not to water it too much. What might happen if you do not water the seeds enough? And what might happen if you water them too much? Again, this is you having to infer. So we're going to restate the question. If we do not water the seeds enough, what do you guys think might happen? Pause the video, type in what you think might happen, and then pause it again to find out together. All right, so what did you guys think? What I was thinking of, I know about planting seeds. If they don't get enough water, they don't grow. They might dry up. So I'm going to say, if we do not water the seeds enough, they might not grow. And then the second question says, if we water the seeds too much, they might drown. We could also say they might get too wet and still not grow. You could change it up. Yours does not have to be the exact same thing as mine. But again, we're using our prior knowledge, keeps jumping around on me, to answer that. And then lastly, number 7, this technical text is organized in sequential order. Sequence, in order, we know that. What might happen if you do not follow the steps? Well, our potato head might not grow hair. That's what we just said. It might look humorous. Well, I think it looks pretty humorous regardless. It might grow too much hair, or it might not come out like the one pictured. I'm going to say A and D. And now what I want you guys to do is scroll down to slide 3. You're going to read another technical text, answer the questions, and then join me back in the next video to